There was a knock at the library door. Twilight opened it and saw the mayor. "May I come in?" she asked. "Sure," said Twilight, stepping aside. The mayor entered, and Twilight closed the door. "What's up?" "I have something really important to tell you. It's about the disappearances." "Really?" asked Twilight. "What about them?" "I know who's doing it." "Who?" "It's..." The mayor started. "I'm not sure how to say this. Just tell me." "It's Pinkie Pie." "Pinkie Pie?" asked Twilight. "Yes. I saw her do it. It's what she does." "Does?" asked Twilight. "What does she do?" "I saw her kill some pony." Twilight's jaw dropped. "She said if I said anything, she'd kill me, too." "No," said Twilight. "Not Pinkie." "It doesn't seem likely, does it?" said the mayor. "But it's true. Your friend is not what she seems. She has another side. A darker side. A side that has taken her over. She's no longer Pinkie Pie. She's become Pinkamena." "Pinkamena?" asked Twilight. "Isn't that her full name?" "Pinkamena's the name she's given to her darker side. Her more violent side." "Are you sure?" Twilight asked. "Yes," answered the mayor. "I'm sorry." Twilight said nothing. "And she has your friends." "What?" asked Twilight. "She has Rainbow Dash and Rarity. If you hurry, you might be able to save Rarity." "What about Rainbow Dash?" asked Twilight hesitantly. "There's no guarantee she's still alive, but you can still save Rarity." "Rarity?" asked Spike, coming up from the stairs. Twilight turned to look at him. "She's in trouble?" Spike was panicking. We have to save her." "And we will, Spike," said Twilight. She turned to the mayor. "Thank you for telling us. Now, be careful." "I'm already dead," said the mayor. "I was dead the moment I told you." "Huh?" asked Twilight and Spike in unison. "She hears and knows everything that goes on in Ponyville. I just couldn't take it anymore. I figured if I said nothing, I'd just be as responsible for the deaths as Pinkie Pie. Some pony had to know." "That's very noble of you," said Twilight. "But rest assured, I'll stop her before she can hurt you." "Thank you for trying," said the mayor, opening the door. "But like I said, I'm already dead." With that, she left. Twilight stood there for a moment, before looking at Spike. "We're gonna need some help." Rainbow Dash and Rarity had their eyes closed since they didn't want to watch what Pinkie was doing to Bubbles' dead body. Pinkie had strung Bubbles' dead body up against the back wall. "Well, that should be enough for now," said Pinkie Pie, setting the scalpel down. Pinkie was nearly covered in blood, as was the floor. Bubbles' organs and guts had been collected into a bucket. Pinkie Pie stood up and headed towards Rainbow Dash. She was holding the scalpel in her mouth. When she got to Rainbow, she dropped the scalpel to the floor. She then slid her hoof in the ring attached to the scalpel's handle. Then she raised the scalpel to Rainbow's thigh. "Bubbles gave me a lot of ingredients," said Pinkie, "but I need a little bit more." She kicked a lever on the floor, and the slab of metal that Rainbow Dash was strapped to fell backwards and rested horizontally. What are you doing?" asked Rainbow Dash, with tears in her eyes. "I told you," said Pinkie Pie, lining up the scalpel with Rainbow Dash's cutie mark. "I need a few more ingredients." Pinkie applied pressure to the scalpel, penetrating Dash's skin. Blood squirted out into Pinkie's face, and Rainbow Dash let out a cry of pain. Pinkie continued to cut around Rainbow Dash's cutie mark. Blood was gushing out of the wound as Pinkie Pie peeled the loose skin off of Dash's thigh. Pinky didn't cut all the way so that the skin was attached to Dash's body by a thin piece of skin. Pinky yanked as hard as she could, tearing the skin off, and brought it over to the bucket of guts. Rainbow Dash was sobbing uncontrollably at this point. She hoped to pass out at any point, but figured Pinky would just shoot her up with some more of that adrenaline. Pinkie Pie made her way back to Rainbow Dash, and repeated the process on her other thigh. Rarity was also in tears. She couldn't bear to see her friend in this much pain. Pinky peeled off the second cutie mark, and hit the lever on the floor. The metal slab slowly raised back up to its original position. Then Pinky dropped the piece of blue flesh into the bucket. She grabbed the handle of the bucket in her mouth, and trotted off towards the exit. "See you two later," Pinkie Pie mumbled. "I've got to make cupcakes." Rainbow Dash took a moment to pass out. Twilight magically appeared in Manhattan. She looked around her environment to get a feel for where things were. She asked around town and finally found who she was looking for. She entered a run-down-looking building. There was a small crowd of ponies gathered in front of a stage. Twilight stayed at the back of the crowd and waited. Soon the lights dimmed and the curtains opened. There was a stool with a magician's hat on top of it. An explosion of smoke appeared on stage. When it cleared, a blue unicorn was standing next to the stool. "Ladies and gentle colts," said the unicorn, "watch and be amazed as I, the great and powerful Trixie, perform spectacular magic." She levitated the hat forward so the crowd could see it was empty. She then set the hat back down on the stool and concentrated. She then levitated a bunny out of the hat. She then set it gently on the stage and it hopped away. Trixie performed some more tricks as Twilight watched patiently. When the show was over, Twilight stayed behind as the others left. She headed backstage only to catch a glimpse of Trixie's tail disappearing through a doorway. Twilight followed her through the doorway and ended up outside. Trixie entered a nearby house and closed the door. Twilight approached the front door and knocked. There was a moment before the answer where Twilight felt like Trixie wasn't going to. But then, "Hello," said a voice. "Trixie," said Twilight. "It's me, Twilight Sparkle of Ponyville." The door opened slightly. Twilight could see a bit of Trixie's face through the crack. "Ponyville?" asked Trixie. "Wait a minute. You're that unicorn that defeated the Ursa Major, aren't you?" "Well, yes," said Twilight. "But that's not why I'm here." "Then why are you here?" "I need your help," said Twilight. "Come in," said Trixie. "We'll talk." Trixie headed to the living room. Twilight entered the house and followed Trixie. The living room was an average-sized room, with a purplish couch up against the far wall. There was also a rug in the center. "So, what's the issue?" asked Trixie. "One of my friends has become psychotic. She's captured two of my other friends. One of them is possibly dead. I need your help to save the other one." Trixie's eyes narrowed. "Do you think I'm an idiot?" "What?" asked Twilight, shocked. No, No?" asked Trixie. "This is some kind of trick to get me back to Ponyville, isn't it?" "No," said Twilight instantly. "Look, Twilight," said Trixie, "I don't need to be taught a lesson. I've already learned my lesson." Her voice started to crack. "I remember it every time I come home." A tear fell from her eye. "I was wrong," she cried. "All right? There's nothing I like better than to undo what I did, but—" She sniffed. "Every pony hates me now. What's the point?" "The point is that you can fix it," said Twilight. "If you help me save Ponyville, they're bound to like you again." "Your friend's really gone crazy?" "Yes." "And if I help, Ponyville will like me?" "I don't see why not," said Twilight. Trixie thought for a second, before answering. "I'll do it." Twilight teleported herself and Trixie back to the library in Ponyville. "You're back," said Spike. "I see your trip was a success." "Hey, Spike," said Twilight. "Where are you off to now?" "I'm taking Trixie to talk to the mayor," said Twilight. "See you when you get back," said Spike. Twilight led Trixie through Ponyville. On their way, ponies stopped to look. "They're all watching me," said Trixie. "And that's because they don't trust you. Yet." They arrived at the mayor's house, and Twilight knocked. There was no answer. She knocked harder, and the door slowly creaked open. The inside was a mess. Tables overturned and glass lay everywhere. The light in the kitchen was on. "Let's check the kitchen," said Twilight. "That seems like a good idea," said Trixie, "seeing as how it's the only light that seems to be working." They stood in the doorway of the kitchen and almost threw up. The mayor's body was back against the back wall. A knife was shoved through each of her front legs, nailing her to the wall. Her stomach was ripped open, and her insides were on the outside. Both her eyes were missing, as well as her tongue. Her heart sat on a plate in the kitchen table. There was a message written in blood above the corpse. It read, "Losing a friend's trust is the quickest way to lose a friend." "This is disgusting," said Trixie. "I have to go, or else I'll puke." She left the kitchen and stood outside, catching her breath and inhaling fresh air. Twilight joined her. "We need to tell Princess Celestia right away." "Good idea," said Trixie. "How?" "I'll have Spike send her a message," said Twilight. "I'll get the Royal Guard to help us." "Where do you think she is?" asked Trixie. "Knowing Pinkie Pie, Sugar Cube Corner,"